All right, welcome to our introduction to labor economics. We're about to dive into the forces that are going to shape, well, your entire professional life. I'm talking from that very first job all the way to your long-term career. And let me be clear, this isn't just some dry theory. This is about you.
So let's jump right in by asking a few big questions. And these are the questions this course is really designed to help you answer. Think of these as getting right to the heart of what you're worth in the professional world. First up, how much will you be worth tomorrow? And look, I don't just mean a number on a paycheck. This is about something way deeper. It's about really, truly understanding the economic value of your skills, what you know, and all your potential. It's all about knowing your worth, for real. And what about this one? How is artificial intelligence going to change your career in just 5 years? I mean, tech is just completely transforming the job market, right? We're going to look at how AI is creating brand new opportunities, but also making some other jobs, well, pretty much obsolete. And most importantly, what does all that mean for your future? Here's a fascinating one. Why isn't money always the main thing? It's a real puzzle, isn't it? We're going to dig into all the complex things that actually drive people to work. Stuff like finding purpose, getting recognition, or just personal growth. It turns out a paycheck is just one piece of a much bigger picture. So, when you put it all together, what does it mean? It means labor economics isn't some abstract, dusty old science. No, it's the science of you. It gives you the toolkit you need to stop just reacting to the job market and start, proactively navigating it. It's about making smarter choices for your own future. Okay, so every great adventure needs two things, right? A guide and a map. So for this course, let's take a quick look at who's going to be your guide and what your map is going to look like. So your guide for this journey is Professor Konstantin Pavlov. Now, he's not just an academic with a PhD in economics. He's actually deeply involved in real-world economic research all across Europe. What that means for you is that he's going to connect the dots between the theory we learn in class and the actual practical challenges and policies that are shaping business right now, today. And here's your map to success, the grade breakdown. Take a look at this. You can see how it's all spread out. Yeah, the final exam is the biggest chunk at 40%, but consistent effort on the midterm, that group project, and the practical tasks, that's absolutely going to be key. This is one of those courses where you just can't cram everything in at the very end. All right, we've got our guide, we've got our map, now it's time to explore the territory. And we're going to start with the absolute core concept of this entire field, the labor market itself. And trust me, as you're about to see, it's a pretty peculiar market. So, what is the labor market? You can think of it as this special space where your skills meet opportunity. Simple enough, right? But it's actually way more complex than, say, a market for apples or cars. Why? Because the product being exchanged here is, well, it's human time, human effort, and human talent. So, what exactly makes this market so unique? Well, for one, labor services are rented, not sold. You can't separate the work from the actual person doing it, their personality, their well-being. That means all those non-money factors, like feeling safe, being respected, they become critically important. And on top of all that, it's a heavily regulated space with unions and labor laws. What's really fascinating here is how it all points to the human element. This is a market built on relationships, not just cold, hard transactions. And to understand all this, we're going to use two different ways of thinking, two different lenses. First, there's positive economics. This is all about describing what is. It focuses on objective facts, on cause and effect. So you might say raising the minimum wage may change youth employment. See? Just the facts. Then there's normative economics. This is about judging what should be. It's where our values about fairness come in. For example, we should introduce programs to help the unemployed. We absolutely need both of these to really understand the world and, hopefully, to make it a little better. So, how do we actually measure the health of this market? Well, economists use key indicators, kind of like a doctor checking a patient's vital signs. These numbers, they tell a really important story about how the economy is doing. First up is the employment rate. It's pretty straightforward, but it's a super powerful metric. It tells us, very simply, what percentage of the population is actually employed. It's a great snapshot of an economy's ability to create jobs. And if we look at some real data from Lithuania, you can see a story unfold. You see that steady growth from about 72% up to 78% before 2020. Then what's really amazing is the resilience during the pandemic and a really strong recovery after, hitting almost 79%. It's a picture of a healthy, growing system.
Next, let's talk about the unemployment rate. Now, here's the crucial thing to remember. This number only counts people who are in the labor force. And what's the labor force? It's people who are either already employed or are actively looking for a job. So someone like a full-time student or a stay-at-home parent, they actually aren't counted in this statistic.
And once again, the Lithuanian data tells a really impressive story. Look at that, a huge drop in unemployment over the last decade, going from over 10% all the way down into the low sixes. That kind of trend points to some really successful reforms and a big comeback for business activity.
Okay, our last big indicator is the labor force participation rate. This one kind of gives us the big picture. It measures the percentage of the entire working age population that is either working or looking for work. It's a great way to see a country's total economic potential.
And check this out for Lithuania. We're seeing a consistently high and really stable rate, just hovering around 79 to 79.5% for people aged 25 to 64. That shows a really strong economic drive among the population, and it suggests a social system that really encourages people to get involved in the workforce.
So there you have it. We've covered the basics. We've learned how to read the market's vital signs. The big question now is, what's your next move? What's your next step on this adventure? Well, your number one tool, your primary resource for this journey is going to be the course textbook. This thing is basically the gold standard in the field. And the reason why is because it does an amazing job of combining deep economic theory with real-world examples of public policy. This is where you're really going to dive deep into all these ideas. Which brings us to the final, ultimate question. The labor market is changing. Are you ready for it? Because here's the thing, it's never static. It's always evolving, always shifting. This entire course is designed to give you the tools to not just understand those changes, but to navigate them, to adapt to them, and ultimately to thrive in them. Your journey starts right now.